As the mist clears, I invite you to look around. Tell me, what do you see?
I see many different galaxies, many different beings. Some have big cloaks on. Some look like praying mantises. Some have big heads. I'm being shown different gods, Hindu gods. And the light keeps flashing. It's as if I'm in space and there's stars. Then it changes into this translucent veil, almost as if it's like a net curtain. You know, when you look through a net curtain, you can see on the outside, and you can see, but you can't really see. You know that there's something there.
It's just soft.
It's soft, and there's a lot of beings that are connecting and chatting.
And what are they doing in this place? Where is this place?
They're showing me that the words are a subterranean northwest yet southeast part of the universal energies of the existence of all mankind. And they're saying that I have to deliver it the way that they are saying it as is. So there's no country, it's not a country, it's an existence that exists out in the universe.
Mm.
And there are many galaxies. When I look around, there are many galaxies. The planet Pluto is in the distance. Uranus is close by. Mercury's on the left-hand side. They're showing me a compass still, and they're showing me north, south, east, west. So Pluto's towards the east, but in the distance. They're taking me to Mercury, and Mercury's doing this, and it's on the west of the north. And they're showing me Jupiter. Jupiter's in the south, and they're giving me the word south node.
Mm.
And they're showing me that I have a big commander who stepped forward. He's a big being. He's over 12 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
He has a beautiful big white head. Massive, massive, massive. And soft. Just soft. He's this translucent veil that looks like a net curtain.
But what does he look like? Is he sort of what, like humanoid, or what? What kind of being are you seeing?
A big third eye
Mm.
and other eyes. He's showing me 8 different eyes.
Yeah.
Long, almost tentacles, like for fingers, and he's only got 4 fingers on each side. No feet, no legs, no ears. Oh. He's showing me that he's all seeing, hence he's got so many eyes. He's the all seer.
Mm.
over over all of us. He's the all seer. And he's not one. He says there's millions of these all seeing beings.
What is his job? I mean, not job, but a purpose or whatever. Why did he come to be a seer?
Sure, his energy is
Sort
He
of
says
what's his
so
purpose?
vast. He is showing up and he's morphing into a he, she, he. He's not of one sex, he's showing me. Yet he says I can call him he. He is the seer of light. He is the keeper of light. And he's showing up today as he has some important information that he wants to share through us. As he knows that many of us have been feeling ratty, irritated, frustrated, triggered, annoyed, fearful. He said there's so much fear playing out through Earth at the moment.
Yes. We want to know how to prepare our bodies with what's going on globally.
Mm-hmm.
So thank him for showing up for us today. How can he help us with that? What has he got to say?
So he's showing me the word Victus, Saint Victus. And he's showing me it's Latin. Victus, and he says he's going to spell this for me. Rautunas.
Rottenness.
Yes, he says that this is a meaning of transformation in their language. Victus is a Latin word. It's about victory. And he says that victory is coming. Yet we have to obliterate the fear.
Mm.
And he says, and he's taking one of his fingers and putting it here. And he wants to draw a cross on my forehead. And a cross. He says, the cross is symbolic of the rebirthing. Many are calling it Christ consciousness, the rebirthing of Jesus Christ. He says, but this is not the truth of what he wants to share. He says, many, many, many different religions will come together and at the same time dissolve in this change that's coming. Many don't want to believe this, yet many are opening themselves up to knowing that the knowing is inside of them and that there is more than only looking at one who stands on a pulpit, who stands behind, who stands up top. He says, no more bowing down to these priests, pastors. No more bowing down. He says, there's far too many humans that are bowing down. He said he's showing up today because even those of us who are on these spiritual courses of enlightenment, and he says, please notice how he said that, spiritual courses of enlightenment. Many of us have taken different courses. Many of us are on different courses. Many of us are on a trajectory to touch the light. He says, yet we are all of the light. He says, for those who are looking up at the pulpits, for those who are confessing, he says this is a time of evolutionary change. He says those that have been in fear are the ones who put others up on a pedestal. Those that know more, he says, no, this is not true. The veiling of the truth is coming. He says we have all seen this, we all know this. Yet many are in disbelief that this is happening, as many humans are impatient at the moment. When is the change happening? He says he's showing us the planets that are aligning, Yet Pluto's leaving. And as Pluto leaves, this is the warring. The wars will come to a stop. He wants us to know that the wars will come to a stop. Within the next 3 to 6 months, there will be a dissolving, yet there will be a reconciling at the same time and a rebuilding of these countries that have been at war. And he's showing me the wall of China. He says, do we all know how long the wall took to build?
No.
He says it's a piece of important information, and it's all got to do with how long this warring has gone on for. As long as the wall of China took to build, and as long as it is, it's vast. It's built across many kilometers. And it took a long time, and many humans. What many don't know is that many humans lost their lives in building this wall. There are souls embedded in the wall. And he's showing me the wall of Berlin. He says, remember when that wall came down? And again, it took a long time. In human times, as he says, you are aware there is no time in space, yet we have made times and timings. So we, you and me collectively, and many others who connect into these connections, into these moments of time, keep focusing on time. We will do this then. This is what I've been told. And he says, this is all an illusion. They give us times to make us feel safe, to give us a goal. He says, because we are all goal setters, are we not?
Mm-hmm.
He says, and then it gets stuck, it gets deeply embedded here. This is what I've been told, so this is what I'm going to do. He says, and it's the same as being on a pulpit. People go to church on a Sunday, they go to Mass, they get told what to do, they get anointed, they take the bread, they drink the wine, and then they leave, and they feel as if they're fulfilled for that day or the week. But yet they are still being told what to do. And he says, this is coming to an end. And he says what he means by this is, as the All Seer of light. And he has a tiny little mouth. He just smiled. And a real flat nose. You know when you can see two little holes, but no bridge? He says that as the All Seer of light, he wants us to know that there will be many dissolvings, yet many people will be disillusioned by what is to come. Many of us are expecting this massive awakening, this massive change universally. He says, but humans are slow. We take time to get it. We talk about living in the now. We talk about consciousness. We talk about awakening. We talk about upliftment, enlightenment. He says he can use all the words that we talk about regularly, spirituality. He says, yet the cross symbolizes what, Jill?
Well, to me, it's a crossing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a changeover.
Mm-hmm. The blood of Christ, is it not?
Yes, many are led to believe that. Yes.
Correct. He says there are many that still believe in the blood of Christ, and that the blood of Christ has cleansed all of us. And he's having a little laugh right now.
But then that takes you and absolves you from your responsibility of self. That's all something I'm always worried, sort of not worried about, but thought something doesn't seem right.
Well, he says we as humans have a term called passing the buck.
Yes.
So it's easier to pass the buck. It's easier to make it about the other person. It's easier to say the other person made me do this. The other person wasn't feeling that, he says. And you and I have had a very in-depth discussion around that this morning, and we kept bringing it back to ourselves about how we have felt in terms of our taking back our power. He says, but it was the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth, and eventually we came back in ourselves. He says, so what's profound in our relationship is that we are sounding boards for one another. Yet many humans are relaying their sound, and he says what he means by this is they dump their sounding. They dump what they have to say. They dump on others. He says, and this is part of where, again, he's taking me back to those that are in the churches that stand and look up at the one person who is a human being, who has human needs, human desires. Hence, the Vatican has been so deeply entrenched in massive amounts of, and he's saying he's not going to use the word darkness, as many humans are going to go, yes, it's dark, it's dark. He says it's human beings. And when we accept that human beings are human beings who are all of the light, he said a lot will dissolve. But we're all waiting with, he says, it's profound how you led me through a breathing exercise and how your guides have given you breath, which is key to life, isn't it? We take our last breath before our soul leaves and transcends. He says, yet we are all gasping and waiting anxiously to see what's next. He says, and what's happening is so many are forgetting to live in the now.
Correct. That is the whole point.
He says, you and I are included in this.
Yes.
And he's smiling and he says, you know what one of my questions were for today around Egypt. And he says, what's happened is the energy has been frenetic. Hence, I've been feeling out of sorts. You've been feeling, he says, many of us have been feeling out of sorts because the frenetic energy, the cleansing and the clearing of Pluto that's leaving, where it's been aligning with the other planets for a while. And he says, Mercury is, and the words he's giving me is, it flashes. Mercury flashes. Dark light, light, dark. Dark light, light, dark. Dark light, light, dark. And in the flashing of this energy, and he's saying that it's not the way it is, he says, but he's giving us an example of what happens with this energy of how we feel one way, then we feel another. We feel one way, and he says bliss, joy, deep, 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 deep darkness or depression. Spiking, we all spiking. He says all of us have been feeling this, up, down, up, down.
So why? What's going on with the energies in the collective? What's making them do this? What's affecting that?
We are affecting it, yet they are being affected. He says the planets are, and he says, and the astrologers know this, the astrologers that are on point, he says there are many astrologers that are noticing massive changes. He says, but we as humans are powerful. We are all individually powerful. So the way we are being in our moment of now, if this is anger, the energy of anger, that anger is projected as we are all interconnected. And as the lining or the planets are realigning, or they are lining up into their own different spaces, he says what happens is the change of the planets affects us too. He said, so he could give you the answer, or give us the answer of, yes, Jill, this is what the planets are doing. He says, because we all want to make sense of it.
But we are connected with them. So our energy. So okay, so I'm interrupting you here because this is what I'm seeing in my head, but it could be wrong. So I'd love to have sort of some clarity on that. So what I see is that the planets have the energy, we have the energy. We don't realize how powerful we are. Our energy interacts with that, and it's like a wild ride on a roller coaster if you decide to get on the roller coaster. Or you can remember who you are and be powerful and be calm and peaceful with it.
Correct. He says, but what's happening is the speed of light is speeding up. Hence, there are telescopes that are being developed and already are being used in order to connect with other planets, other sources. He says the universal planetary energy is vast. There's so much that has been undiscovered. He says, and that's what science does. Science helps us as humans to understand. But we seek to understand continuously. But we are tangible, are we not? We are tangible. We like to see. Yet we are all seeing. We are all knowing. He says, so what happens is, correct, we are so used to the highs and lows, lows and highs, highs and lows, lows and highs, that we wouldn't know who we would be in the calm. He says there's a statement that we use, facing the eye of the storm. But how many of us truly face the eye of the storm? He says, last night I was saying to the gods, the weather gods, please, it's enough now. Has there been enough rain in our town? And yet, in the second breath, humans would say, and I'm included, that rain is cleansing. It is cleansing. He says, but energetically, we are creating the rain as the anger, the anger, the anger, and the farmers are in suffering, are they not? We've been saying for how long? The change is coming, the change is coming, the change is coming. These are the changes that we have all been talking about. These are the changes. This is the tidal wave of what has happened in the year, the start of the year 3, Jill.
Yeah.
So this is the tsunami. This is the tornado. This is the cyclone. This is he said, if we want to call it the cleansing. But the cleansing is what? It's about the beginning. It's starting again from the beginning.
So maybe we need to, sorry to interrupt you, maybe it's time for us to make a stand with ourselves, as my guides did a little short clip today. They communicated with me yesterday on liftoff, and basically how we hand our power over to others, and we hold on to the fear, we hold on to the anger, to the frustration, to the humiliation, and it almost like freezes us. And they said, are you fleeing or are you flying? So my question to you today, the all-seeing eye, is why do so many of us think that somebody else knows more than we do, or can lead the way, and then we become smaller instead of going, those are just humans, just like us. We're all having this experience. Let's walk side by side. I'm actually okay. I'm greater than I thought I was. That's all Michelle and I are trying to do here, is walk side by side with as many people as we can, saying, let's all walk together on this path. Because if we all walk together with brooms in front of us, we can all clear our own way. why do we consistently think that, like you said about the priests and the ministers and everything up on the pulpit, why do we put people above us? Surely we then leak our power that way.
He says, thank you for that. And he says, and he's got a little smile again, and he says, what's been conspiring for a very long time? He says, and listen to his words, what's been conspiring, Jill? Many have conspired for a very, very long time. Hence the conspiracy of the different, he says, and please notice how he says this, the different theories. Yet when one is theorizing, one who studies theological or he says he wants to be aware of how he is coming through right now. When one is theological, one believes that they are not part of the interconnectedness of the all that is. Hence he is the all seer, the all seeing. He says, but in these theories that have been manipulated for a very long time, he says it's as simple as how excited we all got when the first cell phone was birthed. We loved it. It was big, it was bulky. And it's just developed and developed and developed and developed. And then the first laptop or the first computer. And everything's about the upgrade. But then there was the 5G or 5D or the fifth element or the... He says it doesn't matter what we word it, what we term it. He says, but every time there's an upgrade, which is what we're all going through right now, what happens is there's a huge amount of fear. It's like a suction he says it's like, he's showing me it's like a volcano. Before it erupts, it goes in and then it erupts, but it boils, and it's kind of like a suction, and then it explodes. And he says, and that's part of what's happening for all of us in humanity right now. So he said, it's easy, he says, when these messages come through, for people to have aha moments. A lot of us have been interconnected into the thought processes of what people are seeing and what people are hearing and what people are knowing. He said it's easy to say, well, why aren't we taking our power back? He says it seems like it's easy, yet a lot of humans do not even understand where to start. They have no idea what it means to take their power back. Give them war, and they know exactly how to be powerful in a war. Give them politicians that they put on a pedestal, or a pastor, or a minister, or a priest that they put on a pulpit. They give all of that power to that human that is delivering the message. He said that's as simple as every human that listens to this today, that's giving him, the All Seer, all the power. Yet this is not true. He is coming through for us today to deliver the message of what needs to be heard to calm everyone down. He says because what's happening is the frenetic backwards and forwards is as simple as taking, and he's showing me a barracuda. You know a barracuda under the ocean? They're quick, yet they can stop very quickly. For those who are fishermen, they'll know this. And they can stand, or swim, not stand. They can stand and hover, but they come to a dead halt. And they can swim off as quick as they can reappear. And he says he's using this as and understanding as we want to see it. He says this is the unfortunate reality of being human. We want to see it before we believe it. Yet, it's the other way around. He said it's about us truly, 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 truly believing in being the all-seeing, the all-knowing. He says, because that's the flick, that's the flip that has to happen inside of us. And he says it's happening as many are finding their voices, as you and me both are finding our voices. There's a different strength that happens when we speak from a place not of authority. He says it's easy to stand up on a pulpit and speak like this because everyone needs to hear what we have to say. He said, who would he be if he came through me like that today? He would be like all the leaders. He says, how many leaders actually go down to knee level and connect with the humans? He says the coronation has recently happened, hasn't it?
Mm.
And so many assumptions have been made about the new king. He says this new king does not feel like a new king. He says he does not feel like a deserving king. He's not even too sure if being the king is where he wants to be. Yet millions of humans have put him on a pedestal once again. They have embossed him, they have given him the crown. He has many jewels, which create a heaviness, don't they?
Correct.
He now has the responsibility of everyone looking up to him, and yet he wants to be a free man. He wants to be a normal man. He knew he was created into this kingdom, yet he wants to live life in nature. He wants to live his last few years being a human, a normal human being, walking with his dogs, living as a normal husband and wife. And so many humans are praising him, praising him, praising him. What's next? What's next? What's next? What is he going to do that's different? And the simplicity is he's not going to do much different, because he knows what he knows from his mother, doesn't he?
And yet he has the ability to change.
Correct, he's been trained.
But all of us have been trained and programmed, and all of us have also the ability to change. So why don't we change?
Well, there is change happening. He says he wants to be clear. There is transformation as many more are waking up to themselves. Hence, there's more information out there, there's more openness out there. And he says that he would love to give the example of how I had a new client yesterday, and this wonderful husband and wife had lost a very dear son and to an addiction. And yet this wonderful mother has been a Christian her whole entire existence. And she wanted to cancel at first, yet she was completely taken aback in hearing that there is more out there. And her one question to me was, where has he gone? And he's back in the light. His spirit is back in the light. And there was healing that happened. And this is the transformation, not transformation. Transfer. When something is transferred, is from one to the other, is it not?
Yeah. Transference, yeah.
Correct. He said, so this is the transformation, not the transformation. So the transformation is happening. When one is when one is making something that is fermented, it has to take time, doesn't it, in order to ferment. He said, so hence a lot more of us are wanting to bottle things. We call it like the olden days, the good old days. This is what our parents did or our grannies did. They made jam. We're asking for simple. We're requesting simple. He says, but many of us do not really know what simple looks like. We keep saying we want a simple life. We want community. We want our tribes. But yet we are not even too sure what those look like.
Yeah,
He'd like to acknowledge you because a big part of your transformation has been to let go what no longer serves you. He says that people who are generating courses think they own the people who are doing the courses. He says, no, this is where the disconnect. And he says he's taking us back to the caveman. Remember how they had to take 2 stones to ignite a flame to make fire? And there is excitement when the flame is lit. Yet what happens is there is ownership, ownership, ownership. And it's not right, it's not wrong. He says it's just the way humans are. There is a very big degrading energy called greed, Jill. And greed is very much the same as I own you. I tell you what to do. I am up on the pulpit and this is how you all have to behave.
But isn't greed just from fear of lack?
Correct.
Yeah, because I just think there's always going to be enough. I just have that belief that I'll always just be looked after and that there is enough for everybody.
Correct.
So as a result, it always has been. Sometimes I'm down to my last $6, but it still always comes through at the last minute.
Correct. Yet many, he says, would be in complete awe of you even saying this on this platform, as many of those who know you completely, completely, completely believe that you have an abundant life. Abundance is different. Correct. He says abundance is different for many different human beings.
Yes, that's very true.
Simple is different for many different human beings. Simple for some humans is living in a tent, and those are the happiest. Simple for you, simple for Michelle will be very, very different. We've spoken of this before, he says, where many times, many times, many times we talk about abundance, and that's regarding the financial wealth, because when we have financial wealth and big homes and comfortable beds and everything looks perfect on the outside or on the inside or on the outside, but yet we hold on to that. Because what happens if we let it go and we chose to live in a tent? Would we be equally as happy?
Well, some would, some wouldn't.
Correct. This is what makes us all different.
Yeah, so abundance to one person is completely different as
Yes.
abundance to another.
Yes.
So to change the subject completely, if I may, I've been talking about going to Egypt in 2025, and then Michelle channeled through and said it would be October this year. And then I realized there's no way I'd be able to do October this year. And why is it that we get those different kinds of dates? I mean, I know I have to go to Egypt. It's a big call for me. And it's almost like you get left in limbo. You're wanting to go and you want to make plans because that's human. And I just felt October wasn't right for me. But I know after October, the timing will be right. And I know something's going to happen there because I've trusted my guidance that has come through. Everything they've ever said has come through it, and it's been true. And yet I still have that doubt and the nervousness of, oh my gosh, what if I get there and nothing happens? Oh my gosh.
Well, there is a, simple non-understanding, and that is, that you have to trust the process. of being misunderstood for the information that comes through us. And at the time of the deliverance of the message, and this is where the teaching happens, to live in the now, Jill. To live in the now. We give, I give, we give, you give, Michelle gives different information from the different channels, the different councils, the different beings of light. And we are planting seeds as I come directly through Michelle right now. Who's to say that October 2023 doesn't happen or does happen? Who's to say that March 2025 doesn't happen or does happen? It is as simple as me clicking through Michelle's fingers. Do you hear? It is strong.
But people need time to save because
This,
it's a human thing.
this is, well, people are already saving, Jill. People are already buying their luggage. People are already packing their bags. Yet that is a reference from how you have projected for yourself. And when one there is in a reference of projection, they are outside of themselves and they're not in their all-knowing and their all encompassing heart space. So when one has the excitement, you have the excitement, you know there is a calling. Michelle knows there is a calling. Yet there has been a projection, and the projection is an expectation of how you show up. Yet, does it really matter? You show up in Michelle and Jill and Michelle. And when you land into that energy, much will be shown to both of you. There is a tour happening, and there may be one person joining, there may be the two of you. So the seed is planted, yet you have all been conditioned. Gotta save, and yet you are here right now in May. So we are not saying, I am not saying, for one moment in time. One moment is as quick as a click of the fingers. That is how quick the change can happen. Are you aware of this, Jill?
Oh no, it happens when you don't even have a clue. Look what happened when I was in Peru. One minute I was so-called normal, and the next minute I looked like a raving lunatic with all these foreign words emanating. So yeah, I'm very aware of how things can change.
Exactly. And 2023, 2025, it is on your calendars. Yet in our calendars, there is no reference. There is the sun and the moon, and the calendars they're cylindrical. So that is where people see the spirals. Everything is always, all different ways, shifting.
Oh, maybe we can meet in the middle. 2024.
We all smile, Jill, when it is almost as if we are playing with a drop into a wonderful lake, and the lake has ripples. The vibration is already in place, and it does not matter. What matters is one day you will both equally wake up and say, now's the time. Yet you've been stuck on a time in point. Michelle has been stuck in a time in point, and yet if you both let it go, it does not matter. What matters to us is that one day soon, you both are in a space of readiness.
Yeah. At the moment, we're in a fabulous space. We're very excited about the work that we're doing and the workshops that we're planning. It's like It's almost like, whew, yes, ready now. Got my boots on, roll my sleeves up, let's go.
Correct. Listen to those very profound words, Jill. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go. So
Correct.
Michelle's got a client in a few minutes, so we're going to have to wrap this up now. But all seeing eye, I love that because that's what I often see just before I go to sleep. It's this all seeing eye. That's the only way I can describe it. The all knowing, I used to call it, that would just go right through me. And I could tell as many fibs to myself as I liked. But once that all seeing eye was there was no hiding, shall we say. And then it was like, okay, yep, you're right. I've got to face this, I've got to face that, and get on with it. So, what would you like to share with us as a final message for today's chat, and also to say thank you so much for coming through? It's been just lovely.
We thank you, and we would like you to know in the existence of time that there is 10 more minutes that we would like to still share with you. So there is enough time as we make time change and we flip time. So we say to you, all of you, in the interconnectedness of all the spheres, of all the galaxies, let go of the dramas. Let go of what no longer serves you. This may include friendships. This may include commanders of ships. This may include those that you are perhaps following on different platforms. This may include family members. This may include those that are leaving the planet. And we know, Jill, that you have a very dear mother who is transitioning. And we want you to know that we have her. She is ready. So we are sharing this with you and those around you so that you can be receiving of the love and the support as you love and support so many others, you and Michelle equally. So we are sharing this with the many that connect into your energy, not follow you. Please notice how we said that. Connect into your energy field. Connect into your heart. Connect into your platform. A platform allows a train to come in, does it not? Yet everyone stands on the platform, and the train stops and the doors open, and everyone climbs into the train at one time. So you are all within this space. You are all in this together. And we feel that it is important to share with those that are watching this transmission that we know that within your heart space, Jill, you are a divine being of light. You are a wonderful human being to be around, yet your heart is sore. As your mama is your mama. You only ever have one mama in this lifetime. And we know that you never thought that this would be coming through as our last parting words. Yet we, me, he, she, I, the eye of the beholder, the eye of God, feel that it is important for those that are connecting with you today. Show up for you. Share with you. Hold space for you. As you do it for many others, do you not?
Well, we all do what we can.
We know. And we thank you and we thank Michelle for these connections. We thank those of you who are watching. We thank those of you who are following. We thank those of you who are hearing, who are listening, who are doing, who are changing, who are shifting, and all of the above. So we share with you today, Jill, our love in this departing.
Thank you.
So our finishing words would be, in the knowing of the All Seer, Time is irrelevant. Show up in yourselves, in your cells. Listen to what your bodies are showing you. Every day is different. Every moment is different. And every part of you are connected to all the parts of us. And this is what the transformation is all about. This is a transformation of many of you. And as we hold space for the transformation to happen, there will be no more challenges as you see them. There will only be different choices that will lead you all to the guidance of God. We thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was just lovely. So, Michelle, I'm going to count to 3, and when I reach 3, you're going to be back in your room. 1, moving around, and 2, coming back, and 3, open those eyes, and welcome home. Welcome home.
How are you, Julie?
Oh, I didn't expect that. I just, yeah. You know me, I don't like drawing attention to such stuff. So, yeah, I didn't want to make anything of it about me. So, but I think that was a lovely session, Michelle.
It felt beautiful. It felt very uplifting, and I'm looking forward to listening to it again. And
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for your time
Julie.
today.
And for those of you who are watching, thank you guys. And may we all just send Julie love.
And we can have a platform party.
Yeah.
You know, because as I saw the train, you know what I saw? At the platform, all the people getting on the train, and that's all of us. We're on the train of life. And then our train takes us somewhere, to some destination. And all the destinations are different. Sometimes we get on the train together. We might go to one place and go a short distance. Other times we go a long distance together. And then we carry on and, you know, explore all the different platforms and whatever. But every now and then we can all come back to the platform before we get on the train, and we can have a party.
Yeah, but that's what's so awesome, in all of us doing our individual work and then coming together.
Yeah. But you and I think let's, before the end of the month, let me know a time for you, and let's just have a Zoom. Let's have a platform party for everybody, so everybody can chat and have a little bit of a catch up and a connection.
That sounds like an awesome idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You let me know. I know you're a busy bee, so you let me know when you can do that.
I'm not that busy, just by the way.
So
I make my
you better go, because you need to have something to drink before your clients. It's already nearly 1:15, and you 1:30 you're out of here. So
thanks, Lily. Love you guys. Thank you to all of you for watching and showing up and send questions. And you know, it's we're all in this together. All of us. We're all on that platform, and some of us are waiting for our train to stop. Some of us, the train goes by very quickly. And you know what I just got is the train's taking many of those that we love very dearly.
yes,
To a different platform.
to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, the tunnel's fun. I don't know about you, but every time I go through a tunnel, I'm like, I'm breathing in the fumes. Didn't you do that as a kid? Every time you were so
why do we ever hoot when we go through a tunnel?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun, hey?
So let's start tooting on our platform.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I always love these connections.
I love it too. And thanks, everybody. And then we'll see you again. Lots of